India supplied the Pinaka missiles to Armenia. India is now trying to, I will not say absolutely nullify China's influence easy in the near term, but India has at least made a very smart, strong beginning. China decided that now it had enough money. It started splurging on military modernization. Their army became more aggressive. It's like a switch on, switch off. It's a communist country. So, Jan friends, I'm Major Gaurav and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues English. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. There are senior officers, highly qualified in the Army, Navy and the Air Force, the rank of a brigadier sometimes, most of the times. And many of these chosen few are selected to join as DAs or defense attachés all over the world. So they work out of Indian high commissions, they work out of Indian embassies, and for a very long time, their job was, to speak to the host country and give military advice if required to the ambassador, etc. Ever since the Modi government in India has come to power, their KRAs, if I may put it that way in very corporate language, the KRAs have changed and now they're also pitching for Indian stuff to be sold abroad. Like for example, Akash missiles or the Pinaka system or BrahMos missiles are some of the things that DAs are now doing and telling the host country that, hey, this can be a great system for you to buy and why don't you buy the system? Now, I'm going to read out some news to you today and this is instructive because what India has done is, India has suddenly decided to expand its defense footprint in Africa. So, in several new countries, India is expanding its military and defense presence to strengthen strategic ties and boost arms sales. So, here are a list of a few countries to whom now new DAs will be posted, ladies and gentlemen. There are 15-16 new military attachés from the Army, Navy and Air Force, and they are going to be posted to countries like Poland, Armenia, Tanzania, Mozambique, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Ivory Coast and the Philippines. So Poland, Armenia and Philippines apart, all these are African countries. And this move involves rationalizing the number of military officials posted in large missions in Russia, the UK and France. So in Russia, UK and France, we had extremely large missions. Now these are friendly countries. Obviously, we had very large missions. Now, what we're doing is pulling out some of the people from there and posting them to these new countries. Like for example, Poland. India is reaching out to Poland and I think Poland is a great market for Indian weapons. And Poland is also a country that shares similar concerns like India. They have very, very strong concerns about immigration, illegal immigration actually. And India shares those concerns with Poland. Armenia, India has been supplying weapons. India has supplied the Pinaka missiles to Armenia. And we hope that we will also supply BrahMos missiles and the Akash air defense systems to Armenia. Tanzania, Mozambique, Djibouti and Ethiopia, Ivory Coast. They're all African countries and you're aware that in the last G20 summit, Prime Minister Modi called for a vote and they said that the African Union should be part of the G20. And so many African countries were absolutely delighted, because many of these countries have been deliberately kept poor. Deliberately. Because the problem is that if you have any natural wealth, you're going to get into trouble. Unless you're smart enough to manage it. UAE is smart. Saudi Arabia is smart. Venezuela, not so. Venezuelans have a lot of oil. Lot of oil. They don't know how to manage it. Iran has a lot of oil. Don't know how to manage it. Africa, management issues again. Lots and lots of mineral wealth, including oil, including gold, diamond, copper, zinc, gas, you name it. Africa is a treasure trove of minerals. The problem is the inherent instability in Africa. So now we'll have our military attachés there. And one of the other things is that now they're saying India plans to create 10 entirely new defense wings in different countries with a focus on nations open to arm exports. So these are countries that have been identified as countries which potentially will give India, contracts for exporting of arms. And this is something that the defense attachés must do. Help India export their weapons. Maybe one country wants to buy the Tejas jet. Some country wants to buy the Pinaka or so many other things, that India is making. I mean, I just mentioned BrahMos because it is one of the most famous weapon platforms in India. And also, the Pinaka Pinaka is getting to be extremely popular, and the Armenians, in their war against Azerbaijan, they've used Pinaka with devastating effect, and I hope we give them the BrahMos missile systems also. Now, Africa is a key area of interest. Now, China, through the Belt and Road Initiative, China, through various other platforms, has been making deep inroads into Africa. Very deep inroads. We have a very friendly relationship with Mauritius, and a lot of people in Mauritius are of Indian origin. Bhojpuri is a language which is spoken in Mauritius, and Hinduism is widely followed. And we have this deep connect with Mauritius, a deep connect with the people of Mauritius, because many of them went from India only. 200-300 years back or 200 years back, they went there as sugarcane plantation workers and other things, or they used to work as farmhands. And a lot of them went from the areas which are now part of Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. Generally from the areas, other areas also, but also from these areas. And they went and they were taken there as forced labor, as slaves. And when Mauritius became independent, they became free citizens. And then they've been living there ever since. And they have very deep-rooted ties with India. They still practice Hinduism. We have a strong presence in and around Mauritius, but Mauritius is an island nation. Now, this attempt is to, have a foothold in continental Africa. It's important to have a foothold in continental Africa, supplying of weapons and arms to Africa, also doing projects like we did a freshwater project for Uganda. Very important. We did a railway line for Central Africa and introduced trains there, including goods trains and passengers train both. So I think India is now trying to, I will not say absolutely nullify China's influence, because that is not at least easy in the near term. We will do it, but not easy in the near term. But India has at least made a very smart and a very strong beginning in Africa, posting military officers there, who will also consult with, of course, provide consultancy to the local ambassador, but also advise the host nations on a lot of military affairs. That will lead to the growing of Indian influence there, and also supply them with weapon systems which are manufactured in India. And you're talking about Djibouti, strategically located, will also receive an Indian defense attaché. China has established a base there. So China has a very large base in Djibouti. Now Djibouti will now receive an Indian defense attaché, and I think we were slightly slow to move. This should have been done 20-30 years ago. India should have, at least 20 years ago, 30 years ago, India should have made these moves. Moving into other countries and having bases there, it's very important. One day suddenly, China was quiet. For 30 years, 40 years, China didn't say anything to anybody. China was absolutely quiet. Quiet. When I was posted along the line of control, China was absolutely quiet. There was not one offensive word said out of the Chinese soldiers' mouth. Nothing. They were the sweetest guys in the world. And suddenly they changed track. When China decided that now it had enough money, it started splurging on military modernization. Their army became more aggressive. It's like a switch on, switch off. It's a communist country. So, feelings and emotions and loyalties don't matter. There is only one loyalty, and that is towards the Communist Party of China. They press the accelerator, and China has become an international migraine. But, now we are trying to counter it. Now we are trying to have international bases to counter China. So this is what is exactly happening, and also to directly talk to the people, military to military. My friends, military diplomacy is a very core part of overall diplomacy. And the Americans practice it very well, and so should the Indians. Sending the Indian army there to do exercises, inviting other armies to India to do exercises along with us. This creates bonhomie, this creates a relationship, and this should be done very frequently. And, Armenia has emerged as a significant arms export destination with deals for Pinaka rockets and Akash missiles, despite its conflict with Azerbaijan. This I have already mentioned. And India is increasing military ties with ASEAN countries with recent contract for BrahMos missile with the Philippines. This is extremely important because Philippines again has a serious problem with China, friends. Philippines has a very, very serious problem with China. China covets Filipino territory. It covets the seas, it covets the territories of Philippines, and this is something that Philippines is trying to fight against. China has been bullying the Filipino Navy and the Filipino Coast Guard. They've been doing it off and on. And now when they have the BrahMos missiles, and I hope the Philippines people, the Filipino army orders the Akash missile and also the Pinaka systems. If the Chinese get a little too adventurous, you can always give them a tickle with the BrahMos. Chinese don't have anything that matches up to the BrahMos. They have never seen anything like it. And India seeks to export Tejas fighters to countries like the Philippines, Nigeria, Argentina and Egypt with mixed success in previous bids. Now, this usually takes time, ladies and gentlemen. It's not something that can be done offhand. You can't just wake up one morning and say, hey, we are going to export Tejas to Egypt. Now, these deals take years and years and years to fructify. And we are late movers, honestly. We are late movers. Everything is falling into place now. After so many years, we never had that kind of leadership that was so aggressive like we have, the Modi government. Extremely aggressive. But now we do. We have the NSA, we have Prime Minister Modi, we have Dr. S. Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister, all of them pursuing a very robust, a very aggressive foreign policy, led of course by Dr. Jaishankar, and which is why putting up all these defense attachés in various countries. So you come to know your host country better. You liaise with their army, you meet with their army. You meet in the evening over a meal and you discuss what's happening, and it gets you closer. Tomorrow they might have a problem. Let's say some African country says that, we are having a small problem of terrorism and we want to train. We want India's help to train anti-terror, squads in our country. Okay, we'll send you to Manesar. What's in Manesar? It is the headquarters of the National Security Guard. Train with the NSG. These are some of the best guys in the world, for room intervention and all these things. They've done the 2611 Taj rescue and they've done so many other things. They've done Akshardham. They've done so much. And these guys are crack shots. Operation Blue Thunder. The Hazrat Bal Mosque siege. So all this was done by NSG. Fantastic operations, and maybe that can be it. If somebody is facing insurgency on a large scale, maybe they can learn something from the Rashtra Rifles. If they want their special forces trained, Para-SF are among the finest in the world. If they want Navy guys, special forces, who better than the Marcos? And today even America and other countries are saying that we have never seen special forces like this. These are the best of the best. So India has much to give to the world, and India will give much to the world and make relationships as we go along, because China only takes and takes, and India just gives and gives. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the question and answers. The first question is Karthik Subramaniam. Namaste, Gaurav ji, Jai Hind. Namaste, Karthik ji, Jai Hind to you too. After both Saudi Prince and US State Department asked Pakistan PM to sort the Kashmir issue by itself and with India bilaterally and no middlemen involved, do you think Shehbaz Sharif will finally do the right thing by talking to Modi ji and sort this out? Or will he still keep pushing this issue internationally? Pakistan will never do the right thing. Pakistan in its 76 years of existence has never ever done the right thing. It's never done the right thing. Pakistan will always do the wrong thing, and we don't want Pakistan to talk to us, whether about Kashmir or any other thing in the world. We just don't want to have any interaction with Pakistan. It's not worth it. And to talk to Shehbaz Sharif, I don't think it's worth Prime Minister Modi's time. I don't think Prime Minister Modi will waste his time talking to a deadbeat like Shehbaz Sharif. I mean, Pakistanis don't respect Shehbaz Sharif. Nobody likes him, right? And the guy the Pakistanis do respect is in jail. And they asked Prime Minister Modi, what do you think Imran Khan is in jail? He says, that is Pakistan's internal issue. It's not our business here. You can do whatever you wish. So, Pakistan will never do the right thing, and I don't even think it is the right thing. Why should we talk to even Pakistan on the Kashmir issue or anybody? This is not a multilateral issue. I'm talking about Kashmir issue. It's not a multilateral issue. It's not a bilateral issue. It's a unilateral issue which India will sort out the way India wants to sort out. Mayank, thank you so much for covering this, sir. Sitting here in Canada, when I saw this interference news from CSIS, I had the same question. Why doesn't he question China when CSIS themselves have shared the evidence but instead wants to divert everything on India? He's going to testify today in Canadian court, and I cannot be surprised he would say CSIS is a faulty organization. It is India who interfered. Yeah, so Justin Trudeau he's a wimp actually. This man does not have strength of character. He keeps on complaining. He's always negative, and I don't know, there's something wrong with Justin Trudeau. I hope somebody better comes in. Canada is a great country. Canada is a lovely country, and Canadians deserve a stronger Prime Minister. They deserve a robust government who can sort out their issues. I don't think the Canadian people deserve somebody like Justin Trudeau. He's weak. He's a wimp. Justin Trudeau is not strong, and because, you see, you can't say India because, you can't say China, I beg your pardon. You can't say China. He will not say China. He will not say China because that has repercussions. But India is a democracy. You can say India, and India will say, okay, we disagree with you, but, we disagree with you, but you have every right to say what you're saying. This is typical Indian. This is the typical attitude of any democracy. In case of China, there'll be very serious repercussions because forget about Canadians here. The Chinese government does not allow the Chinese to talk. It's not like they are allowing their own people to talk and others not to talk. They don't allow anybody to talk. Democracy, free speech is not something that is known in China, which is exactly why Justin Trudeau is not going to say anything to the Chinese. With that, I come to the end of my video today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. And if you like this video, press the like button. Subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to press the bell icon. Jai Hind. Vande Mataram. Bharat Mata Ki Jai.